I wanted to come to this founder house personally with the goal of getting us and Atomic Growth to $83,000 in MRR. Right now, though, I don't see a clear path to mass hyper targeting.
So you tell Silicon Valley you work with Andreessen Horowitz, they'll sign on the dotted line.
Let's first talk about the Lumpy mail. How are we going to start sending physical products to the offices of our dream clients?
So can we get the QR inside the coconut?
Yeah, we can.
You can drill a hole, create a small slit, put it inside.
You've got to think, are they going to open the coconut or throw it?
Bro, the last thing we need is getting rejected by the US customs.
They are likely to reject brown hairy coconut. Saiyam starts on the lead gen part. I'll get the infrastructure set up. Vihan can think of the copy and boom, we press launch. A month of insane work, hopefully.
Yeah, but one question guys, what about hiring?
Everyone, welcome back to the Fuck Ups podcast. I want to make a quick disclaimer / announcement before the episode actually starts. Aman, who has been with me on this podcast so far, is kinda not wanting to do content for a bit now. The main reason is that he wants to accomplish something big. He wants to be able to do something that backs him up before he's actually making podcasts and educating others. And that is a feeling that you often get, right? Even if you've accomplished more than the person you're talking to in this case, which might be the audience, right? Even for Aman. I do think that it's a valid feeling that comes up. Who am I to be talking on a podcast? So that is why Aman is no longer wanting to do podcasts until he's done something big. And I don't think that will take him too long, maybe a year, maybe less. So let's wait for Aman's comeback. But in the meantime, I want to continue my podcasting journey with some great guests. So today, I have two of my teammates from Atomic Growth join me in a conversation on how we're going to scale our agency to 83K MRR or 1 million in ARR. So listen till the end. It'll really help you if you are someone who is even just starting an agency to see the unorthodox methods we think about and go through in order to scale beyond a certain point. I'm sure you'll find a few laughs. Or even if you're someone at 100 grand a month, I hope that you can take some of these ideas for yourself. Sam, why don't you start us off? Tell us how your day one was in the founder house and what the founder house is.
Okay, so my day one basically was just me not sleeping the night before. Went to the airport, got to Bangalore, and then the first thing that we decide upon is we're just gonna go to the gym.
So you arrived and then we went to the gym? I don't even remember.
When I arrived, dude, yesterday.
Yeah, we got some yogurt, ate
yeah.
groceries, and then we went.
I got confused.
Yeah.
So the one solid thing that we decided, we're gonna go to the gym now. And we go to the gym, and this guy just gets me on it. I'm sweating, my t-shirt is just gone.
And I'm not even going hard.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It wasn't even going hard.
Saiyam looked more chiseled mid-workout than when he landed. I swear on my life. He had a jawline.
I'm not kidding. I literally, I must have lost 3 or 4 kgs in water weight. I'm not even kidding. It's insane
That's good.
the amount of sweat that I got out in the last 2 days. I don't think I've lost that much water in the last month.
Nice.
It's insane. But yeah, it's good.
Good shit.
And so more about the founder's house. It's basically just Atomic people chilling out and scaling the company.
Chilling out.
Chilling out and scaling the company. Dude, come on. Scaling the company is what we call chilling out. That's
Right.
chilling out for us.
Right, but it's supposed to be more intense, in my opinion. We're supposed to.
But isn't intense your second nature?
That's right, but at the same time, I feel like there are phases. And my life, at least right now, it has been structured in phases. For example, last founder house was in Argentina, 3 months, right? And then the last month was less founder housey because we were traveling around. We went to Subah. You had some fun over there.
Dude, you saw penguins. How did that go?
It was good. And then right after the penguins, right? Again, for a few days. But when you move around so much, you can't lock in.
Yeah.
I sound Gen Z as well.
Yeah.
It's time to lock in.
Lock in.
And then we basically, I thought, okay, it's all about environments, constructing them. And I wanted to export the founder house from there into here and get everyone on the protocol. That's why we're also rotating teammates here, right?
Yeah.
So everyone here's how the default should be.
Explain that. Subah, talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, tell us more about how are we rotating teammates and who else are we getting here?
Yeah, we're gonna get Jagan. We're gonna get Kushal. Jagan is another full-time member with us. Kushal is one of our best creatives And we're also going to get some sick guests coming up soon. We're going to be doing two different podcasts, right? One is the Fuck Ups, which is laid back, chill with homies and fellow agency owners in our age range,
Yeah.
right? Who are doing absolutely amazing. And then the second, we're going to get some amazing founders and beyond.
Just to give you guys a hint. So the first podcast I'll probably defer more to Subah. He knows more about the agency space. For the second one, we have some sick guests lined up. One of them runs one of India's largest EV companies. I don't want to give out the name, but it's going to be something. And the second is going to be someone who runs a $1.2 billion venture fund. So it's very contrary to how our journeys have been. But that's what makes it fun. And the synergy is because we create podcasts for VCs and tech companies, we can speak their language.
You know what's funny? This one is like sponsored by IRW. The other podcast sponsored by Atomik. There's
It's crazy,
slight
man. Like,
difference.
you want to talk more about IRW?
No, not really.
No.
But
No
real
more
quick,
plugins, man.
Yeah.
IW doesn't need more plugins.
I think everybody knows.
It's all over the place.
now.
real quick, guys, let's introduce ourselves. I'll go first just to set context, right? I hope some people might know me, whoever is watching. But if you don't, I'm Subah. I run Atomic Growth alongside Vihan and Saiyam, where we all work in one agency. And before this, I was working at another company that was responsible for one of the fastest growing finance YouTube channels. And I was working there as a social media manager. I'm being so corporate. I love it. And then before that, I've been making content for like a few years. I had a fitness page, started off really fat. And that's sort of been my story so far in like 30 seconds. Sam?
I started off with a tech companies, did like digital marketing for them initially, then moved into content and like started like building personal brands for the founders like that I used to work with. I didn't have a niche because like I would pretty much reach out to like anybody and everybody I could find.
Right.
Then like I went into like video editing, started like editing videos for a few like decent marketing agencies in India. Wasn't like really good at editing videos, so like I like stick with the content strategy part.
You don't want to name him?
No, no. I mean, but it was good. Like I've learned a lot from him. That's not the case, but not the best place to be. You know, like
Right.
it was decent. Not bad at all though. After that, joined Atomic, and yeah, here I am, like working as a project manager at Atomic.
Awesome.
Nice. My journey started in Kolkata. Similar
Oh,
to
no.
every one of Subah's friends.
Want to talk more
It's
about?
something about that city, man. It's important for the character arc. So started fat too, I guess. Morbidly obese, 105 kilos, 5'3", 5'4" at the time. When I was 12, I was pre-diabetic. So yeah, intense. COVID happened, and then I lost a fair bit of weight. I grew by like a foot, and then that sort of started.
I like how you put that. Grew by a
Grew
foot.
by like a foot.
And
Yeah,
then-
that's well put.
Check mark.
And then it's just growth spurts, man.
Yeah.
And then I started freelancing. So I actually started writing copy for websites and I started writing blogs. And then I was like, okay, people are getting paid for this shit. So yeah, I figured out how to set up Payoneer. And then I've always been interested in the finance niche. Always wanted to run my own venture fund. I don't know how that came about. Maybe watched too much Wolf of Wall Street growing up. And for somehow I landed an internship at one of India's biggest angel investors at the time. Went from there to working with another German angel investor. So got exposed to working in the international markets. From there, I went to work at ICICI in the asset
How old are
management
you?
division for a bit.
How old are you?
I'm 20.
Right.
And from there, I went to work at a family office. While I was at the family office,
I understand why I asked, how old are you?
while I was at the family office and nearing my tenure there for almost a year, I saw Subah put up a story that he's looking for copywriters. I was like, dude, I can do this. I like run circles around the other applicants. No, that's not what I was thinking. But
Dude, but you did. You can definitely run
so
circles.
But if you were to review your own copy today when hiring, how would you feel?
myself.
There you go.
Pretty shit, man.
I feel like that's been the case with all Atomic people, though. Like,
Yeah.
even our creative team,
Yeah.
from where they joined us and where they are today, if we saw where they were at the beginning and
Yeah.
we're hiring today, I don't know if they'd be in at all.
If I publish what I wrote in that test copy today, we'd get fired from the client.
Right.
It was actually
Right.
for BSc.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Lot of
Let's
development.
not.
From there, I became a copywriter, and then on my second day here, I became a PM. So I was like, I don't want to deal with this client. Let's give it to the new guy. And we were a much smaller agency then. So I feel like all of us still don't have defined roles. But back then, we had no defined roles.
What is a role?
Yeah.
Anyways, thank you guys for introducing yourself. I wanted to come to this founder house personally with the goal of getting us and Atomic Growth to $83,000 in MRR. Currently, we're around 50 something. We're above 50,
Yeah.
right? But it's like we're still stuck at 50, right? We've been fluctuating from 50 to like 55. So, how on earth do we get to 83K? Let's spit some game for the audience, right? Whether they can use these principles if they're scaling from 0 to 10 or whatever they might be,
Yeah.
right? So, I have a few ideas.
Hmm.
This is what we're going to be doing for the next 29 or 30 days here. And feel free to reject these ideas or bounce off of me. So, number one, right now, our outreach strategy has been single emails, right? We've been sending hyper-targeted emails to venture funds and tech companies
Yeah.
who are relevant to our ICP, or we've had some relevant news with them. So the
Yeah.
timing is also really good, right? That works.
Yeah.
I don't know if we can do it at scale.
Yeah.
I like to discuss this first, right? Because Vihan is currently, he's like the source to find this news and always have this news like top of mind. I help out sometimes, but mostly it's Vihan that finds, oh, this happened. Perfect. We can reach out to them, right? Oh, this person started a new podcast. Person hasn't even started a podcast and we've reached out to them,
Yeah.
right? How can we export this culture throughout the team so that everyone is sort of on the lookout?
I think it starts with knowing more about the industry, right? It's like you won't find the right source without knowing who the right stakeholders are. You won't know the right stakeholders without knowing the industry, right? And you won't know about the industry if you don't take time to learn and educate yourself. These are people who don't show up on your TikTok feed, right? So it's going to take a fair bit of effort. But that's just the niche we're in. And it's also how we get the big boy sales.
Right now, though, I don't see a clear path to,
Yeah.
mass hyper targeting,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? I don't see how we can potentially do that. So I wanted to move on and give you guys the agenda for the rest. But I just thought that's a worthy mention that,
Yeah.
look, if we can do more of what works, what's been working
Yeah.
for us, easy. But apparently, I think there's a cap on hyper targeting, right?
Yeah.
The next few ideas I have, and I'll give you guys all of it at once. Number one, launch mass outbound strategy again. Instantly. Lead list, hire that lead gen team again, but come up with a new angle, right? We got to 0 to 20K this way.
Yeah.
It's worked for us in the past, and right now we are so much at a stronger position, right?
Yeah.
Is it possible? Is it not? I don't know. Next, finalize our case studies, which is one of the objectives here. We have so many good case studies. I think I don't need to talk about this one. Next is automate or kick off Lumpy mail.
Yeah. Subah, you want to explain what Lumpy email is?
For sure. A guy cold emailed me a few days ago, and he said, Subah, can I send coconuts to your ICP and get them on a call with you? An amazing cold email. I'm going to put up a link, right?
Love that guy.
Crazy, you know?
It was a really good cold email. And it was, so then we spoke to the guy, but it turned out that the guy himself wasn't worth it. Like he
Talk about that. Talk about what.
oh my God, man. Okay,
Talk
Fuck
about
Ups
it.
is redeeming its name.
Yes.
Our man here, he's based in the UK, right? I don't want to give too many details, but It was a guy who was just starting out this Lumpy Mail company. Lumpy
Sweet
Mail
guy.
is when we send, in really short words, when you send physical products to your ICP to try and book calls with them. ICP being ideal customer profile for us, venture funds in the US, right?
Yeah.
So he'd send them something, maybe a foot. We ideated some Lumpy Mail ideas, right? Maybe a classic one for a lot of businesses is a foot. Not a real human foot, like a silicone one. So you send that, and it's like a foot in the door.
Yeah.
Right? It's
Yeah.
cheesy, but it works. Another one is just a coconut. It's a classic. Another one is like, why not just give them a mic with your sticker on it or something, right? For the ones who already have a podcast, but maybe not a SM7B.
Yeah.
For our the guys who we really want.
Yeah.
Just ideas. So after all that ideation, this guy basically, when we were on a call with him again the next time, and Arthur asked some really like pressing questions, right? Like, okay, how does it work? So this was the second call, and he was like, vetting him properly, let's say.
Arthur being Arthur.
Yeah. The dude got an anxiety attack and hopped off the email and hopped off the live call, and his wife emailed us saying, apologies for wasting your time.
What?
He's on,
Yeah.
he's been having anxiety attacks. And dude, as much as I would feel bad, he kind of wasted our time, right? This is business.
But I wish him the best, man. Honestly, like, you wouldn't know, right? It's going
Right. So, Lumpy Mail, since that agency couldn't do it for us.
Yeah.
I mean, agency, I don't know. Agency, one person with like
Yeah.
his wife, I don't know. But I want to do this. I feel like it'll get us to the really like the core clients we want. Next is perhaps AIEO.
IEO.
AIEO.
AIEO.
SEO. AIEO.
Got it.
Okay. Talk about that.
Got it?
Mean to you.
Yeah, I mean,
But what does
kinda.
it mean to you?
Kinda.
Our last call
Yes.
with a venture fund, she found us on ChatGPT.
That too, Japanese-based venture.
Yeah. I think that's the future. Especially with in newer markets and venture, like some ventures are obviously outdated. They'll continue using Google.
Yeah.
But why not dominate and rank for Perplexity in ChatGPT?
Yeah.
Do we have a path?
I don't know.
We'll just figure it out.
I'm sure
that's what we do, like.
this is already becoming a thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure this is on the radar of so many people. Because nowadays customers are telling people, yeah, we found you through ChatGPT or Perplexity.
Yeah, I mean, like the AI platforms are like probably going to use that as monetization tactics, for them.
Yeah, in the late future. I don't think it's near.
It's not near,
Yeah,
definitely.
because there's competition.
It's one of those things.
The way AI is moving, at the speed it is, you never know. This could just be a thing next year. You don't know.
You don't know, and you might not know. Like, I don't know, like who's going to bring it first, though.
I think you need a monopoly. I think you need somewhat of a Google.
Really?
I think so.
Really?
Before you can start monetizing it that much to the scale where you're implementing ads
I think it'd be
and
little
skewing
tech,
results.
because with the incumbents, they're always the last to monetize. Because they have so much brand recognition and they have so much mindshare already that when they move away from the freemium, they have to be super careful about reputation.
Yeah, and Subah, like, you pay for Perplexity,
Yes.
right? So what's the harm in just charging the brands to top on Perplexity?
Because Perplexity, unlike Google, tries to give you the best answer with logic. When
Yeah.
there's money involved,
You can just add a
how are you going to skew the logic?
dude, but like, isn't that everywhere? Like YouTube home feed will just show ad, right?
Yeah, but Perplexity is not giving you options.
It's giving you information, right?
Sometimes they give you options and you ask for a list. But even then, I just feel like it's way harder to monitor because they're early.
Yeah.
What tomorrow or not tomorrow, but in 2 months, another person can make the Perplexity if they start falling off.
It can definitely,
yeah.
but like it's even harder for like larger companies, don't you think?
Not really. Dude, with the sort of R&D they have, they can iterate pretty freaking fast.
But execution is harder with like larger
Execution is not hard. The go-to-market is hard.
That's what I'm saying. So
The go-to-market
when
is
you
hard.
when you start the execution process, you first figure out how do you want to like land into the
But-
market, isn't it?
But they can, I mean, obviously, right? Like, again, this is sort of a case-by-case thing. But it's like if it's Apple, it's always the last to innovate. If it's Google, it'd probably be faster. If Microsoft, they'd just buy your damn thing instead of build it out.
Do you think Apple is the last to innovate?
Always.
Their headset.
Dude.
Vision Pro.
Apple is always the last to innovate.
Vision Pro.
Vision Pro, yeah.
It was one of a kind. It wasn't. Look, there
They
have
were
been
3 years
VR. There
behind.
have been VR headsets, but not the way Apple executed it.
Okay, they executed on it, and then 2 quarters after, they had to cut down.
This is too much of a tangent. Nobody gives a shit about Apple
Yeah.
Vision Pro anymore.
Yeah.
Not on the fuck up spot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, how are we gonna? Let's first talk about the Lumpy mails, right? Because I think
Yeah.
this is exciting. How are we gonna start sending physical products to the offices of our dream clients? Think Sequoia. Think not Sequoia, but yeah, actually, yeah, Sequoia.
Why not?
Oh, yeah.
And we send,
Oh yeah.
even though we've been in contact, I think it's worth
Andreessen
with it.
needs a banger cold email, and we need to just do it.
Agree on their terms.
And Nam needs, bro, it's okay. It's Andreessen Horowitz. You tell Silicon Valley you work with Andreessen Horowitz, they'll sign on the dotted line one at the
We have
minimum
enough.
price.
We have enough.
No priors.
No, huh?
We want to try no priors as well.
Yeah.
Get the husband, get the wife. Get the wife, get the
Exactly,
husband.
It's like hit 2 birds with an arrow. It's good.
But regardless, what are we sending
Yeah.
to Sequoia's office? We've got a foot.
No.
I want to race from Sequoia after Atomic.
Yeah.
Why not, dude? Why not? Rex started sending champagne bottles.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, champagne bottles and a foot.
Nah,
Are two
champagne
very
is like
different.
very generic.
Generic,
Everybody
but it works.
sends.
Who doesn't like a champagne bottle? But a foot is
But-
funny.
Food is funny.
The thing with the champagne bottle is, first off, super fancy champagne bottle. Okay, like I'm talking $800 and upwards.
We are not spending that on each
Of
person.
course not.
Yeah, but if it's Sequoia, if it's just do it for Sequoia, do it for Altimeter, and the rest will just send coconuts.
Coconuts is a legit idea. If you don't want to think too much, which I think has merit, right? Otherwise, we'll just be stuck in ideation. Coconuts is a safe
Our
option.
Atomic logo on coconuts. Easy.
I don't know
not
the
tough.
exact strategy. Do we want them to break the coconut? And then,
Break the coconut and find something inside.
but I don't
Like
think that's
a
possible.
physical dog.
Yeah.
Is that physically
strategy.
possible?
It,
We should glue the coconut.
yeah, we can glue the coconut.
There must be like
Fucking
edible
love it.
glue, right?
Yeah, there is. And it's not just about edible like glue. You can probably there are multiple ways to do this. Actually. You can like drill a hole. And it depends on like what you want to put in though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could put in a note and
A strategy doc. We have
Oh, we know. The first one, bro.
that's not a bad idea.
You're killing me.
It's not a bad idea, dude. Come on. Like
They've already seen it though. They've already
an audit through the coconut.
What we
Let's
need to do.
quickly explain what an audit is and how
Yeah.
that's been an insane tactic for us to close clients after the first call.
Okay. So what we like to do for all the podcasts that we speak to is we promise them a free content audit, irrespective if they choose to work with us or not, right? And now these are comprehensive 15, 16 pager audits, and we give them a breakdown of what they're doing currently.
Also, please tell everybody like who we do it for as well.
Yeah. So if you guys don't already know, Atomic creates and sort of scales podcasts for VCs and tech companies. So we create these audits with sort of line items on what we would do if we were to work together and what we would specifically change. And then towards the end of the audit, we give them a breakdown of deliverables they would get if they work with us and propose pricing. So that way it becomes, it shows initiative, right? Because someone spent like a day and a half scanning through your podcast, scanning through your socials, coming up with tailored strategies for distribution. And then obviously they get to see, once they've gone through the 15 pages, they're more inclined to the price we quote them. And Atomic Growth is not cheap.
Yeah.
We don't intend on being either.
Website link.
So go on. Do you think we can print a small audit doc, right? And
No.
a mini booklet and put inside
No,
the
man.
coconut?
Like
No.
or probably like convert the strategy doc into a QR code and ask them to scan it.
Yeah.
Do it.
That's awesome.
Can we get the QR inside the coconut?
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, we can.
You can like
I
That's
create
what we
like
say,
a
we can.
Do it.
like
Do it.
drill a hole, create a small slit, put it inside.
Not even a hole. Sure, we can do a
slit.
hole.
A slit is
right?
what I'm saying, like a small slit with like thin scale or something like that. I just put it in,
We've got to think, are they going to open the coconut or throw it?
break it here.
Are they going to throw it?
They're probably gonna throw it.
No, that's why we've got to make it obvious.
Yeah, make
There's
it obvious.
something to the coconut. We've got to glue it together. So there should be an obvious crack in the coconut so that they feel intrigued. Like it's already half open.
Dude, UX is fine. We can definitely figure that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's easy to figure out. But
So QR code that scans something and we need to let them know what the QR is for. With a friendly note.
yeah,
Handwritten.
like something like that case study page that we looked at.
Yeah.
Really
But
easy.
a
Yeah,
handwritten
yeah,
note that tells them we're friendly and we're not going to take their data from QR.
Yeah, definitely. Because like a lot of people are just gonna be
We've
skeptical.
got to
That's-
try insane ideas, guys.
Yeah,
Swing for the fences. Swing for the fences,
like
guys.
people might like it, dude. There's like enough cold emailing these days. Like
Now logistics.
But our code
How do we
emails
do
are good.
How do we do this in the US? Because we're not based there right now.
yeah, we so which cities do we want to target?
New York.
New York
And
SF. That's it.
SF.
That's it.
We gotta find a logistics partner, dude.
Yeah, we've got to find a person who's willing to buy like 40 coconuts. First of all, we've got to draft exactly who, their addresses, the notes,
Yeah.
the QRs. And then for them, it's like, hey, you're a dummy. Print these 40 QRs. Buy these 40 coconuts from here. And make it as easy as possible for them because we don't want to get billed part-time rates of a US man.
Yeah. Yeah.
We don't want to be paying 10K just for a
Yeah.
guy
Nah,
to
man.
do this, right? We just
Rather pay FedEx.
There are like
Yeah.
hundreds of people like willing to make some.
We could find someone on Upwork. We could even ask one of our US freelancers. I think.
That's easy.
Dude. Yeah.
Like extra
Like-
money for them.
Yeah, Michael or Grace. They can
Yeah.
probably help us out here. Especially
Prob-
Grace. Michael is friendly with Grace. The other
Yeah,
Michael.
and like
Yeah.
even if like Michael does it from Peru, it's like really cheap. Right?
No, I'm talking about.
No, it has to be
Kino.
within the US because shipping from outside the US into the US, it gets subjected to customs and problems.
Gotcha.
Bro, the last thing we need is getting rejected by the US customs after all this effort.
Because they are likely to reject brown hairy coconuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Where's it coming
If we
from?
need brown hairy coconuts, we can get like the
The brown hairy
Green
ones.
ones.
Yeah.
green
Bro,
ones as
bro.
well.
No. Brown, bro. Vibe.
brown
Vibe.
coconuts.
Vibe.
Got it. I think we have a lot figured out
Yeah.
to act on. Now, Vian, how are you gonna make like 40 of these QRs for the content audits? You cannot do it alone.
Yeah.
Where's our copywriter?
We are.
If you're.
You see the bottlenecks?
Yeah.
Yeah. Come on.
Okay, now I have to look at the camera for this one.
No.
No, you don't have
Why?
to tell us.
If anyone watching this wants to be a copywriter
Yeah, look at-
and you have half a brain and
We're always
Right.
hiring copywriters.
good
Yeah.
copy, good, clean
Technical.
copy, good,
Yeah.
clean technical copy.
and don't like threaten us to sue us or something like
Yes.
that. Yeah, please.
Please apply. Subah will pay you more from his own pocket.
No. This podcast is sponsored by IRW, guys.
IRW will pay you more.
IRW is the place where you
Learn copy from IRW, then apply to Atomic.
Aren't they gonna be skeptical about it, like scanning the QRs?
Bro, the thing is, we
friendly
don't.
handwritten note.
The thing is, we don't need.
And
40
probably like
coconuts.
half of them know us like already.
We don't need 40 coconuts. We need like 15 max.
I know. We don't need like 40.
And we might not even do coconuts. This is ideation.
It's just
Might do another
ideation.
object.
But I'm saying if we do, there's honestly 10 people left for us to land. 10 people who would matter
Yeah.
because no one else sort of matters. It's another retainer on that. Don't you?
So if anyone is targeting other niches,
yeah,
and even they can basically double the response rate.
100%.
Yeah.
You have to realize of the 15 people off the top of my head that I want to do this for, 8 are billionaires. Each have had exits in the range of 500 to a million to $1 billion. And now they run their own venture funds. So they're super high profile. Unless you're reaching to that league, I would say Lumpy email, you'd probably have way higher conversion than we do. Because for us, it's the, okay, if it sticks with one prospect, that's all we need. That's all we need for 83K.
Right.
Yeah.
We get one annual?
83K.
Yeah.
More, 90.
More.
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 We're like 2 sales away. Max 2 sales away. That's
say
what's
three.
funny.
I'll
Nah,
say
dude.
three. Because I want to fire one of our existing clients. So 3.
Fair enough, man. You see,
Fair enough.
I've made a beast.
Yep.
Fire our clients.
That's
I have reels about this shit. I want to fire our clients. Let's go to mass outbound.
Yeah.
What do we want to do? We'll get infrastructure super simple. Mail scale and instantly. Mail scale, we got all the email accounts. Now we can do, let's say, 500 emails a day. We've got that capacity.
Yeah.
What is the template and who is the leads for? Who are our leads and how do we get a system to consistently find them? These should be companies that want to start a new podcast.
Yeah.
That is the market we're going for now.
Yeah. So it's ideally gonna be people who have recently had like massive exits. That's one.
Why?
Are we looking founders or companies? I'd say the latter.
Companies.
I mean, companies.
Most founders are not liquid, dude.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
But who have had an exit and they're liquid, right?
Huh?
If
The-
they're exiting, then they're liquid. Yeah.
No, but they may have like golden shackles attached, right? Where the payout is paid over 3-4 years.
That's true, but don't
They
like
don't have money.
like if a founder exits, like he's just like jobless.
But like, no, dude,
man.
Half
dude, let me tell you something.
After an exit, you're not jobless.
A founder, 95% founders never exit unless they have the next thing already locked in.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't know
Really?
about it.
95%.
Dude,
Then why is the 0 to 1? Like, sorry, in this case, I hope you know what I'm referring to.
Yeah, yeah.
We're talking about an incubator
Yeah.
that specializes for founders who have already exited and are looking for their next big thing.
Yeah.
Why does that exist then if 95% are against that?
Because all of them have an industry and a vertical that they want to focus on, right? For me, defense tech really excites me. And I know a
Agreed.
very, very specific vertical in defense tech that really excites me. So now I have to find the right team, right? I have to find the right 0 to 1 team. And I have to find the right sort of community to be around, which can probably advise me. So it's like
Interesting.
I'm 95% of the way there before I have my inception.
Okay, but so you're saying that there aren't many founders who exit without having a single clue of what they want to do next.
Nah, man.
I thought that metric would be like a lot higher.
Really?
yeah. I mean, I thought like
Regardless,
just 0.
companies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where do we find the list that are ideal for us?
Do you want to stick to like the people we work with, or do you want to expand the kind of companies that we
Tech.
work with?
We want to go into tech companies, right?
Yeah, we already work with like a few, but
Yeah, but it's weaker than our
it's really
VC
yeah.
clients. So, what can we do?
The thing is, pitching tech companies that start podcasts are cyclical. They want to do it. They want to do a couple of episodes and they're quick to judge.
Mm.
Venture funds, they're willing to do 2 seasons and 3 seasons and then come to a conclusion if this is worth it or not. Because their fund cycles are that way,
Yeah.
right? With a tech company, if you're under the pressure of raising every 18 months, right, and you're spending, even if you're working with one of our contemporaries, which are significantly cheaper than us, and you're spending 60 grand a year on them, it's significant. It's not nothing. So they have less patience. Like, I would say the 2 tech companies that we've worked with at Atomik so far, they've had less patience than the other VCs that we've worked with. Obviously, those VCs are way bigger, but they also have more patience to, have it take off.
Yeah.
My take on this is that then it's not a founder and it's not a founder podcast fit.
Yeah.
There are definitely founders who are in it for the longer run. And
Yeah.
if within, you say 18 months before they need to raise, right? Assume we even have 12 months,
Yeah.
right? Assume we get the 12 months. If we cannot get them the big deals that we're promising, right,
Yeah.
through podcasting, then what's the point?
Yeah.
They should have an ROI. And that is why we want to target these sectors where the contract values are in the millions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lead gen people, they need clear directions, right? Like, here are the criteria, because without clear directions, if they start using free will
Yeah.
to determine, hey, this is that, and we have multiple people using their free will, the system fails.
Yeah.
It doesn't, there's too much entropy.
Yeah.
So how can we make it simple for them to follow?
Yeah.
Probably work on a template and like create an SOP. No?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
How?
first thing we need to make sure is that we're hitting the right industries, right? Like defense is super, super lucrative to go after simply because the contract values like start
Oh,
at 10 million,
It is.
right? If they're doing a redevelopment project, it's 10 million. Like one of the defense tech companies we were trying to pitch in between, their contract value over the last 24 months is
10?
300 million.
Damn. Andrew?
No, Talos.
Shit, dude.
Right.
Because of the war.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
War is profitable.
What
And
not
let's quickly connect
Yeah.
on how these podcasts connect to contracts.
Yeah. So that is sort of one of the things that we're really like, that's the value prop that we have at Atomic, that hey, a lot of these companies that we're working with, they're not in the views business, right? And they don't intend on being on the views business. The business they're in is if the guests that they have on the podcast, if they engage in a commercial relationship with any one of them across an entire year, right? That one contract will basically pay for our fees. And tenfold, probably.
Tenfold.
Yeah. Maybe more.
ICP.
So,
Define.
so, I mean, in simple words, it's called deal flow, right? And the first step to bringing them deal flow is building mindshare, right? So you want to show the host or you want to show the company in a light where the guest feels like, yes, this is a worthy stakeholder that I want to have a commercial relationship with. Because they're sort of doing their own qualifiers too, right? I'm assuming. And once they have that set in stone, the podcast, the distribution, that's why, we invest so much on editors and designers to sort of make all this stuff look pretty. And that's a huge value add in terms of showing off for the company, right?
You said mindshare.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, what is the Gen Z term to explain that? Living in
Mindshare
your head
copy.
rent free. That was going through my mind. Like mindshare.
Mindshare is
using too much corporate lingo here.
Mindshare is the one word that I say on every sales call.
I know.
Yeah.
And from who did you pick it up? Another prospect, right?
Jonathan.
Yes. Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
What's another word that you say like almost every time? I know it.
What?
Which one?
Blitzkill.
Blitzkill.
Read off.
Blitzkill is just read off.
Read off.
Damn it.
We got to rep the client.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So as for going back again, right? Circling back to the circling back. What effect are you guys doing? So coming back to the mass outbound strategy again.
Yeah.
We've got our ICP defined.
Yeah.
I'm sure we can figure out the technicals of how to productize filtering them down.
Yeah.
Now, what does our outreach actually look like?
I think the first important step in all outreach is finding who's going to be the one that this email is most relevant to or this copy is most relevant to.
So lead gen.
Right? No, but like finding the person in that organization who this would be most relevant to.
Okay.
CMO.
POC.
Depends. Honestly, sometimes
Yo,
it's CMOs. Sometimes it's not even marketing people sometimes, right? Because it's like they don't have any autonomy oftentimes.
No, in my eyes, it's always been the CMO for these decisions.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like a lot of times, like these are the
Think
people
of
who
Brex.
are running the initiative.
Yeah, but it's like Brex is a conventional later stage decacon, right?
Yeah, but I still think CMO is definitely the person responsible for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, but some of these companies like don't believe in marketing people. So who do you go after? Operations?
CEO is not.
CEO.
No.
Shoot for Palmer Lucky.
I don't know.
CEOs are just too.
I think CMO. Let's just keep that as a hygiene. But so let's assume
Yeah.
CMO.
Yeah.
Outreach. What does our message entail to get them to bite the hook?
And the subject line has to be about how they're going to get deal flow.
But that's too scammy.
Is
Like, yeah, it's common. Not deal flow because you're using like a decent term, right?
yeah.
But if you say, here's how X company can get 10 times more deal flow, trash.
I mean,
10
times more deal flow is also like
No.
Yeah.
overselling it by a lot.
Yeah.
But it's more about I don't know.
This will work for hyper-targeted, right?
Yeah.
Because we can easily guess. But I do want to experiment with the numbers game again. Because cold emails are really good when selling high ticket again.
Yeah.
Because even out of 10,000, we get one. That's 40 grand a month, right? I'm not talking about.
guys.
I'm not talking about 1,000 emails and you get 2-3 clients. That's for small boy stuff.
Yeah.
Or unless you're exceptional at this cold email thing.
Hmm.
I'm talking about 10,000 and we maybe we get one close. But that closes.
That
Yeah.
one close takes care of all of us for a bit.
Yeah.
Phrase it like that.
I don't know.
So that's where we are.
Yeah.
The message itself. Let's think of the subject again, right? I would say a good subject will just be podcasting. One word.
Hmm.
Because we've experimented with no subject. No subject gets around a 55 to 60% open rate.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Right.
The other one, really, I mean, it's very Alex Hormozy coded, but it honestly works, is guest name, episode, info.
But
'Cause someone-
they don't have episodes.
Right. I'm saying generally, if
Yeah.
they do have a podcast, that's the one that really works. We've actually had a higher open rate there than the one that we get most of our closes with. In terms of open rate, that one works better.
Let's stick with the real metric then.
Yeah.
In this case, which is the closes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
put
So-
aside. I hate name in the subject.
Yeah.
No name. So let's just think podcasting or no subject, right?
Yeah.
Now what does the content of the email look like? Hey name, sure. Hey squiggly bracket name, comma. Or just name, comma.
Yeah.
I think name is better.
First thing I would do is start with an insight. Like, again, this is super hard to do because if you're launching like a large campaign, right? How are you going to say something specific that their brand has been doing? Like a marketing initiative they've been pulling. Because if you're reaching out to CMOs,
It has to be a really short email, I feel.
Yeah.
Something like, hey name, some personalization line.
Yeah.
Figure this out, right? But some personalization line that isn't too generic, but
That's
also
personalization line.
widely applicable. Your work has been shaping the
Yeah.
like our podcast outreach,
Yeah.
right? Your work has changed something like that.
Hmm.
Say the
Then
template out loud.
then from there, we can probably email with. We've been working with XYZ
Yeah.
Yeah.
on their editor, and then on their podcasts, respective podcasts, and have helped them with 2 bullet points, distribution, etc.,
Yeah.
and gotten them these results.
Hmm.
Wondering if company name has thought of starting a podcast? Question mark.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. That sounds good.
I think that's it. And then we A/B test more variations if need be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The personalization line is just gonna be different.
That's the common.
The one thing I would say is that the value prop is still not, like, we need to drive it home a lot more.
But it's a numbers game.
Yeah, but then it's
And it
like
should
too
be
much is
short.
left to chance, right? The value prop. The
A/B
value.
test. It's possible to A/B test, but I feel like this will work best for in mass.
Yeah.
It's a different game.
Yeah. It's not hyper targeted like anymore.
Worth a shot.
Let's test.
We
That's
can-
another objective for this month that honestly we can do in 7 days.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just what needs to happen is that tomorrow Saiyam starts on the lead gen part. I can help you out. I'll get the infrastructure set up, the instantly and mail scale. Vihan can think of the copy, and boom, we press launch
Yeah.
in 7 days. 7 days because the cold emails will take time to warm up again.
Yeah.
And to actually get the leads themselves, you need to hire people day after max for lead gen.
Yeah. That's gonna be tough. I'll really need to find good people. It's not gonna be like a
Yeah.
generic person's job. Definitely.
It's not too we need someone who has experience in lead gen who will come at a slight premium, but even that is not too expensive.
Nah,
Honestly,
it's not about expense, you know. Like,
Might
it's
as well
just
pay the
about-
premium.
We can pay premium. That's not a problem.
Might
It's
as well
just
pay the premium.
I think for lead gen, the template you create is the most important than the people.
mm,
I think
Personal take.
It's a bit of both. Because also
If
the
the person
has to
doesn't get it, then
understand what
what's
we
the
have
point?
to do, right? The person has to understand, like, you're not selling people on, I will manage your spa's social media for
yeah.
750 bucks.
Yeah,
a month.
exactly.
Like,
That's weird.
hey, more power to those guys, right? But this is a completely different modality.
Probably offended so many people right now.
Yeah.
Who are so
guys,
far
it's
into
just
the pod.
But it's like, it's a completely
It's
different
just
modality
the different
to what
business.
we're doing. Hey, our ticket sizes were what when we first started?
2K?
1500.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we've done shit for
Whatever.
1500 as well,
Yeah.
right?
About
We're
5
sending a quote
deliverables.
for 15K right now.
What were the deliverables with those 15K?
It's short.
Per
man.
podcast. Wait, what?
1500.
1500?
Not
Just
15K.
short. Just short.
Short.
Yeah, but wasn't it like 30 or something?
30 at least.
Yeah, so it's like
Still have one of those, by the way.
But that's a different case. So that is around I think because the fact that we got a 20K with
Yeah.
some not the brightest people in terms of
Hmm.
lead gen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is why I might have a bias towards like, okay, lead gen just works. You just need a good template. I might be wrong. Let's try out hiring a premium
Yeah.
and then let's hire one mediocre and see the difference in their cheats.
Yep.
The
A/B test
one
the
risk
AI.
with that is that if it doesn't land, it's going to be very, very difficult to do hyper targeted with these people because they'll be able to associate the domain with, oh, I got a shit generic email from these guys. That's the one risk I see.
If it's a shit generic email, they won't remember the company.
Even that's
And these are from different
verified.
domains. These are
Yeah.
from different domains, right? It's not our
Yeah.
domain.
Yeah.
Now the last one, which I don't think is going to take too long, is AIEO. Say it out loud once, please.
So
AIEO.
is just
AIEO.
AIEO.
Yes.
How do you want to put this?
How do you want to go
For
about?
someone who skipped here, AIEO is basically SEO, but for Perplexity and ChatGPT. How do we make our agency rank when someone searches on Perplexity? I want to start a podcast. What are the best agencies, right? Especially
Try
if
it
they're
now.
in
Like try
venture.
searching it right now.
Let's
What do you
do it.
get?
Dude, I
Imagine
think,
getting atomic growth. Like
you know,
I'm going to
honestly,
Perplexity.
how we'd get good, how you might get good talent for this is Subah, you put up an Instagram story and you tell them,
Yeah.
we'll give you a,
Probably get like
we'll give you a
page door
bonus.
reviews on that.
We're starting a podcast for a venture capital firm, for a venture capital fund.
Or a tech company.
Which agency is best for me? Yeah, we're not number one. Number one is Quill Podcast Agency. Never heard of them.
Yeah.
Number two is the Podglomerate. God damn it. Number
Is it?
three is Caspian Studios. I've never heard of any of these. We're not there.
So let's just like do what these guys are doing for their websites, for
Yeah.
SEO.
Let's reverse engineer this.
Yeah,
This is
sure.
Perplexity. Let's put more prompts on GPD. Let's try all the models. Or what?
Yeah.
Let's also try Claude.
Which ones do you want? Claude, GPD, Perplexity. What else?
There's one more that's popping up.
Want to try
But
DeepSeek?
let's keep it to these mainstream ones.
Yeah, DeepSeek R1 is also there.
Perplexity, I was using DeepSeek's model, but Perplexity's research is different. DeepSeek is for reasoning. So
Yeah.
we know what we got to do then. Let's study these sites and see why they're ranking first. Maybe we need to rank on particular other websites, right? What do you call that in SEO when you buy positions in other websites to feature you?
Hyperlinks?
Backlinks.
Backlinking.
Backlinking. Perhaps that's relevant even for Perplexity.
Yeah.
That is relevant for like Perplexity. It's like we gotta like feature ourselves, not like feature ourselves, probably get featured into more Quora responses or like more
Maybe.
blog
Bro,
posts.
the Quora stuff,
Reddit.
so saturated at
Dude,
this
but it
point.
helps. I'm not
Dude,
kidding. Like
I'm
it
telling
really
you,
helps
it's-
with rankings.
I don't see another Brex scanning through Quora for us.
No, it's not
not
Brex.
Quora.
It's
So that-
Perplexity scanning through Quora.
but
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's just so
Whatever
saturated.
Perplexity scans through is
See,
important.
it is saturated, but like how many people are doing like podcasting for VCs and tech companies? Like, or just podcasting, like there are like a lot of companies doing podcasting, but like
Yeah.
if a venture capital fund is like trying to search for it,
Yeah.
why
Makes
not?
sense.
It just makes a lot of sense and it's gonna work.
Fair enough.
Regardless, this is third priority. First priority, Lumpy
Yeah.
mail. Second priority,
Hiring a lead gen guy.
lead gen, mass cold outreach again.
Yeah.
Let's test
Yeah.
it out because we stopped for like over a year now. Who knows, man? And then
But-
third initiative we're gonna take to scale is the AIEO. It's gonna be
And
back
that
30 days.
Is how you get to 83K MRR
Yep.
and $1 million.
We don't fucking know, man. We don't know yet.
Yeah, we
It's fine.
don't
No,
know, but
this would be like a cool hook.
Oh,
When
yeah.
we
Yeah.
make it there.
Yeah.
it's definitely gonna be a cool hook.
All right, guys. A month of insane work, hopefully.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
I'm
like
excited.
one question, guys. Like, what about hiring? Do we not need to like scale the team?